welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. And today we're going to be doing a get ready with me with some random new items that I picked up. So we're going to be using some of the new Dior Mono eyeshadows, the Hourglass cream blushes, a new eyeliner I picked up, and so forth. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to bring you in closer. All right, so on my skin, I have the Dior Forever Skin Veil Primer. And then I'm going to take the Merit Complexion Stick. I'm just going to add a little bit of this under my eyes here. Just add a little bit closer up. And I'm just going to add a little bit to my cheeks as well. Next, I'm taking the Givenchy Prisma Libra foundation in, this is 1N95. I'm just gonna put a little bit of this on. This is a thin serum-like foundation. I've been using this a ton, so I'm sure you've seen me use it on my channel before. And this is the Koh Gen Do buffing brush. So that's it for me today. I'm not going to use all of this. Just want light coverage. And I really like this foundation just to add kind of like a sheer light coverage with a little bit of a glow, but it's not one of those glowy foundations that has like the pearlescent particles in it, which, you know, can kind of give you that pearly glow on your skin. And this is more of that glow from within. So I personally really like it, and it's great for days when I don't really feel like putting on a lot of makeup either. So it's very versatile. All right, for the eyes, I'm gonna take the Dior Mono in number 530. This is Tulle. This is a satin shade, and I'm using the Rephr 16 brush, and I'm just gonna put this, kind of start in the crease and buff that up a little bit. And I'm dusting whatever is left kind of just on the lid here. Tulle is a very light shade, and you know, it would be great as a one and done, but honestly, I really wanted to play with this shade. This is Sienna, number 446. And I don't know, I guess I didn't look at the pictures that well, but I thought it was more like mustardy yellow, and it's really more like tangerine orange. And I'm very curious how this is gonna play on my eyes. So I just wanted to have something there kind of in the crease to kind of diffuse that a little bit in that area. But we're gonna go ahead and put this all over the mobile lid. So I'm taking the Sonia G Jumbo Blender, and I'm just going to get a little bit of this up, and let's put this on. It's actually, you know, a little bit softer than I expected. And this is a satin as well, and you can see that it's got a little bit more, yeah, you can definitely see that satin shimmer, and it looks a little bit lighter in spots when the light hits it. Just gonna add a little bit more here. I'm going to take the Smudger 2 into the same shade. This is also Sonia G. I'm just going to put this on the lower lash line also. And then next, I'm taking number 633. This is Coral Look. It's the glitter shade. And I'm just going to take the side of the smudger. What was the Smudger 2? And just dab this into the inner corner here. And I'm going to use my finger and dab just a touch of this in the center here of the lid. And then I wanted to try this. I picked up a couple of the Yuzi by Flo Fushi eyeliners. I've been wanting to try these for years. So I don't know how many people have heard about these, but Flo Fushi, they originally came out with liners. Oh gosh, it was like many years ago now, probably like 5 years or something. And they were really, really popular and they sold out pretty much immediately, you know, and it was just like a little like startup company. So they basically closed up shop and took some time to reorganize. They came back and they came back as like Yuzi, like they're Yuzi Beauty now, I believe. And the eyeliners are back and they have like so many different colors and everything. But what's different is that these eyeliners are made by What's different is that these eyeliners are actually made by hand in Kumano, Japan, just like Fude brushes. So they've got like a fine tip and it's just supposed to be like the best liquid eyeliner. So they have a ton of different shades. I picked up light blue and yellow actually because I was just kind of in one of those moods. But it says light blue is classy but daring and it creates a cheerful look. So we'll check it out. It's hypoallergenic, allergy tested, vegan, cruelty-free, gluten-free, phthalate-free, paraben-free, alcohol-free, and sulfate-free. It is made in Japan, and yeah, let's check it out. So the container, this is like, feels like recycled cardboard, you know, like papery. And then you have a little, kind of like a foil strip here. Oops. Okay, and here, this is the paper that's inside. So Unframe the Beauty, that's what their website is. Unframe the Beauty. And this just has, you know, all of their different shades. So you've got tons of different shades. They actually have like something like 9 blacks or something like that. So there's like a red black, a blue tinted black, and so forth. So those always look interesting. And then this is the actual liner. So it says Yuzi Eye Opening Liner here. This material, I mean, it's plastic, but you can see that it's grooved, so it's not gonna like roll around. And this is the tip. So let's see what this, wow. Let me make that bigger. Okay, this brush tip really, I mean, that really works well. Look at this. Very interesting. So I just thought it'd be interesting to pair the blue with the orange. So let's try it out. Again, I'm not great with wing liner. Because I'm terrible with wing liner, I always take just a little brush at the end and just kind of extend it a little bit because yeah, it's not something I'm great at. I'm not gonna do like a huge wing, but let's make it a little bit more dramatic here. So that's my first attempt to say this is really easy to work with. Normally I do liquid eyeliner off camera because literally it takes me like 10 minutes to do an eye. All right, so that's my attempt at the wing liner. And I have to say, I really like the actual product a lot. You know, for somebody who is good at wing liner, this would be amazing. So, but I do think it's really easy to use. So if you're somebody like me who is not skilled with wing liner, this brush really makes it much easier for me. Now for the lower waterline, I'm going to take the Gucci pencil in Celeste and just put a little bit of this on here. All right, so for mascara, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the Chanel Metal Terracotta from the spring collection. And that sold out pretty quickly, but if you're looking for it, I did see some available at Saks. So I guess it's still around, it's just not that easy to find. All right, and then for brows, I am going to be using the SUQQU Framing Eyebrow Liquid Pen in 03. And I just recently picked this up. Apparently this is a Lisa Eldridge favorite, but you can see that it's, you know, got like a fine point as well. Oops, sorry. This is the shade that I have. And yeah, this is one of those little flick pens, which is not my forte, but I have used it once and I liked it. So I'm just gonna kind of start at the base and kind of lessen the pressure as I go up. And again, since I'm a little nervous, I'm not using much pressure at all. And then I always just like to take a spoolie and just kind of run through my brows after like every brow product. So just so you can see what these swatches look like kind of after they've dried, this eyeliner, it went on and there was like a little bit of playtime, but it dries pretty quickly. And yeah, you know, it doesn't smudge. And you know, sometimes when you put like a liquid eyeliner swatch on your hand, you can kind of feel like something there, especially with, you know, a liquid eyeliner. You can usually feel that there's a different texture on there than your skin. This feels like my skin. Like if I had my eyes closed, I would have no idea where the actual makeup is on my hand. And I mean, the same thing goes with like this brow pencil with, or brow pen when you have these smaller lines, but you can feel like a buildup of product and there's like a little bit more tackiness here, which is normal. I mean, that's usually what you feel with a swatch. So what I think is so interesting about the UZ liner is I don't feel anything. There's no resistance, no tackiness. It truly feels just like my skin, which is pretty cool. So these are the swatches. Again, this is light blue from UZ, and this is 03 in the SUQQU brow pen. Now, as for blushes, I wanted to stick with kind of like cream products. So we're gonna go in with the Hourglass. These are the Vanish sticks, and I have two shades. This one here is Devoted. And then I also have Sacred. One here. And I thought we'd mix them together. So I'm actually gonna just kind of make like a big swatch here. And I'm going to dip my brush into these. So I'm just gonna take the KJH and Spectrum Collections brush. This is 02. And this is both shades, Devoted and Sacred, kind of mixed on my hand. I'm just gonna tap the brush in here a little bit and kind of tap it on. Okay, so I'm just wiping that brush off on my cloth, and now I'm just gonna kind of like blend out the edges a little bit. Okay, and then I'm taking the same brush, I wiped it off. This is the Westman Atelier Lit Up Stick in Brulee. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of this on the bristles. And I'm just gonna kind of start back here. Just kind of work that in a little bit. And I'm bringing it just right under the blush as well. All right, so same brush, just kind of blending that a little bit. And the reason I added the Brulee is just to add a little bit more dimension here, sort of like contouring, but not quite there yet. So I just want to like a little hint of shadow right at the base of the blush. So there's that. And then let's move on to highlight. For highlight, I'm actually going to take the Chanel LeBlanc Rosé Light Drops. These came out, I think, last spring. And I really like to use these a lot, like for all sorts of things. You know, I like to mix them into concealer. You can use this as a base for like illumination. You can just kind of dab it on as a highlight, which is what I'm gonna do right now. So I'm putting a little bit on the apple of my cheek, and then I'm gonna kind of buff that in a little bit. But you could see I traced it up there with my finger as well. I'm just gonna add a little bit of this right under the brow. Okay, so there's everything. And let's move on to lips. So I don't want to go super bright, so I'm going to take Rebellious Rose from Burberry. Just going to dab this on. I'm going to add some lip liner. So I'm taking Starstruck from Pat McGrath, and this is a cooler tone pink, but you can see that Rebellious Rose is warm tone, but I just kind of want the juxtaposition there. Right, so that's the lip, and just kind of soften this a little. And I think we need a gloss. I'm gonna take the Westman Atelier lip gloss in, this one is in Nana, I think, yes. I'm just gonna dab a little bit of this on. I'm gonna use my finger because I don't wanna get any lipstick on the applicator. All right, so here is Nana. You can see that it's a bit of a nude shade. There's a little like peachy pink in there, but it helps kind of tone down the lipstick a little bit, yet adds that glossy shine, which I really like right now. So I'm gonna back you up so you can see the whole thing. All right, so that is the whole thing. I think I'm just gonna dab a little bit more of the blush right here, just to punch that up a touch. And then I think that's it. All right, so that is my look. I just wanted to try something different, a little bit summery. I was really curious about sienna, and I don't know why, but I'm really in the colored eyeliner kind of mood. So I hope you enjoyed this look. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Just some quick updates on these items. First, starting with the Dior Monos, I have, I think, 18 of these now, and I do have a video up with the first 10, but I am going to be, doing swatches of all of these all together, and I will, I had to let my eyes heal a little bit. So next week, I will work on a video with the eye swatches of the other 8, and we'll do swatches of all of these. So if there are any comparisons or requests that you have for any of the shadows, please be sure to let me know so that I can include those. Overall, the formula of the Dior Monos is great. It's, just like the formula in the Quince, which I really, really like. They have some interesting colors. They also have some like kind of more repetitive shades. So we'll talk more about that later. The Yuzi liner, I have to say, is really pretty awesome. I mean, I'll have to see how this wears, and I will let you guys know down in the description box, but it goes on like a dream. I'm terrible with like a liquid eyeliner, and this is so easy for me to use. You can get a very fine point. The color doesn't it doesn't all come out at once, like in a big glob or anything like that. It's not hard to get product out. Obviously, this is the first time I used it, so we'll see how it performs after I've used it a lot longer and it's starting to run out. But I love how you can't feel the product here. So I think that's really just kind of cool. And since I do have like the wrinkles on my eyes, I have a much harder time doing wing liner now that I have been getting older. And this was much easier for me to use in that area than a typical liner. I think it's because of brush. The brush itself, you know, you're able to get some of those like fine hairs kind of in those crevices instead of kind of skipping over that area completely and then having to go back and try to, you know, get it in without making a huge mess. So I really like this and can't wait to try more. Again, I picked up a yellow one also, but when I use up some of my other liquid eyeliners in the more traditional shades, I definitely plan on purchasing more of these. So this is definitely a win. As for the Hourglass blush sticks, I really like the formula of this cream blush. I think it's a very nice formula. I personally don't like the triangular packaging because, you know, you can, if you're turning it all the way, like I usually am like talking or something while I'm closing a product. So I just turn it till I can't feel it turn anymore. And if you do that, you know, it just turns a little bit past it. So that's just a little annoyance. It's not a big deal, but the shape in general, I just find to be a little bit too gimmicky. So it's nice that it doesn't roll, but I don't care for the shape. I'd rather have something round personally. And yeah, but the actual product inside, I really like. I've found that I don't like to apply it directly to my face. I prefer to make a swatch on my hand and then dip a brush into it, or I can use my fingers. I personally prefer a brush, but it stays creamy long enough to work on it and kind of blend it out if you want. This is definitely something that's easier to blend out or to pile on. And you can see that it's more of an opaque cream blush. It's not one of those sheer translucent types. So I think it's a really great product. Longevity, it holds up really well for me. I've used this before in some videos, and overall, I think the product itself is a win. Chanel Rosé Light Drops, I love these things. So you know, depending on your skin tone, they have different shades and so forth. I really love the rosy ones for me to add to like one of my concealers, especially during the summer. I like to do that a lot when I want a little bit less coverage and a little bit more brightening. This is a great way to do that. So I usually mix this in with a concealer like in a 50-50 ratio. It's also great for an overall face brightener or highlight, and it's subtle, you know, it's not overpowering. I just have like a touch of highlight there. So I really like it. I think it's a versatile product. It's definitely a win for me. And yeah, that I really love. The Chanel Metal Terracotta Mascara. This is Le Volume de Chanel classic formula. It's a great formula. I enjoy it. This shade in particular, I really like. I wish that they would add more shades like this to their line permanently. I think this is a nice play on a brow mascara. I personally love brow mascaras, and this one is just a little bit more playful because, here, let me show you the shade as best as I can. Okay, you can see that, you know, it's not as dark as a traditional brow mascara, and there's a little bit, I mean, there's a little bit of a metallic vibe to it. So it's got a little bit of a glisten. It's not something you notice like super well on your lashes, but it's one of those things where it's like, there's just something different about it, and I can't quite put my finger on it. So I really like that. As for the Dior Hermanos, real quickly, let me just swatch those because discussed them but forgot to actually swatch them. This one is Tulle, the satin shade that I used in my crease. And I apologize, I do still have staining on my arms. Those Burberry lipsticks really, the pigment really lasts. So this is the Coral Glitter, which is called Coral Look. You can see it's just like a nice topper. It's more of like a champagne-y, I guess coral, but to me it's really more like a peachy champagne. And then last up, this one is Sienna, which you can see is this beautiful kind of like this mandarin tangerine orange shade, and it glistens. You can see the satin finish there, and it goes a little bit mustardy yellow, but it's not like such a yellow base orange that it doesn't work with my skin tone, which is really nice because those are shades that are really difficult for me to wear usually. One more update, the Merit Stick, I've still been using this a ton. I really don't need to use much of it at a time, so it's really lasted me a long time. I use the shade Silk, really love it. The Givenchy Prisma Libre Foundation, I have shade 1 N95, super versatile, love this for kind of more like light coverage. You can get this up to medium, but I usually go light to medium with this. I think it's a really great formula. This is another product that you can mix in with a concealer. You can mix this in with blushes to kind of make a cream blush or to change the consistency of one that you already have. You know, it's just a really versatile product. I really like this one. As for the Brulee shade and the Lit Up Highlight Stick, I think this is a great shade for, you know, kind of like a bronzy look for my skin tone. There it is right there. And you can see that it's got some shine and shimmer. I don't use the Lit Up sticks, you know, quite as often. They don't truly like set down on me, but I like to use them more as like an accent. And this shade in particular, I like to just kind of neutralize things a little bit or just add like a touch of color here, kind of blending this out with something more like the Patrick Ta, what is it called? Is it She's So LA? That's what I'm thinking of. Like that style, that brownish blush bronzer type thing. This works really well with that for a nice transition. As for lipsticks, the Burberry lipsticks, I just put up a review on those. I really like these. This one is shade number 44, Rebellious Rose, which is a warm pink shade. And, you know, Pat McGrath lip liners are one of my favorite formulas, so I have quite a few of those. Again, I used Starstruck with this, which is a little bit of a cooler tone. Let me just make this a little bit darker here. So here's Starstruck and here is Rebellious Rose next to it. So you can see that the two shades don't really go together, but I think it worked well to give just a little bit of a boundary, and I wanted to not have like harsh lines. So I smudged it out a little bit, topped it with the gloss to just make it a little bit more of a summery vibe. And that is everything. The Westman Atelier gloss, I've really been liking these. Well, I guess these are really more of a lip balm, tinted lip balm. They're very comfortable and hydrating on my lips, so I'm really enjoying them. And yeah, oh, one last product. The brow pen from SUQQU. I've played with this a few times and I have to say I like it. It's pretty cool. I'm not super great with brows in general, but I think this is something that's easy to use even for a beginner. So I have to say everything that I used today, I am quite happy with. And yeah, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. So if you've tried any of these, please let me know what you think, or if there's anything in particular you would like to see more on, please let me know down below in the comments. And thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'll see you very soon. Have a great day and stay safe and healthy.